I think the first thing I'm going to do is make this beer bottle. So what I need to do is take my isomalt and melt it down. You can see this is isomalt I've already used. It normally comes like this. If you get the tempered stuff already, cake play comes in long sticks, and then the semi comes in little, they're little discs, and so it makes them really easy to melt. But I've already done beer bottle mold. What I did is I just bought the colored brown, and I melted it, and then the leftover I just saved. So I'm going to go ahead, you can reuse it, the stuff that you saved. So I'm going to go ahead and nuke this. I'm going to go for 30 seconds and then 20-second intervals after that. This is a lot, so I'm probably going to start with a minute and then start heating it up, and you want to heat it up until it's nice and bubbly. Okay? Okay, so you see this is nice and bubbly. Well, I don't know if you can see that or not. It's nice and bubbly in there. And it's going to be pretty liquidy. Pretty liquidy. So we want to wait till the bubbles dissipate. Took close to 6 minutes in 1 minute increments in the microwave is what I ended up doing, because this is a lot of isomalt. And it takes close to 2 pounds to fill it up. I think I use 1.5 pounds of isomalt to fill this. So that's why it takes a little bit of time. So we'll wait for the bubbles to dissipate, and then once they dissipate, then we're going to pour it in. I've got these really thick rubber bands around it to hold it together, because it's got one seam down the center and it just opens up with that seam. Well, you'll see it when I take it out. Okay, so we're just going to pour this in. It's very hot. You notice I have my gloves on. Didn't quite make it all the way to the top because I didn't quite have 1.5 pounds of, but that's okay. I'm just turn it around and dip it upside down and let it run out. And we'll just let this run. Clean off the bottom. And like I said, I'm actually going to be using a clear one. I made a clear one earlier, but this is just so you can see it. And when it's pretty much stopped, you can go ahead and set it down. And I'm just going to let it cool off. It's going to take a little bit of a while to cool. Probably depends on the temperature in your house, but at least a good probably 15-20 minutes, maybe even more. Depends, and it's pretty cool in here, so it'll dry fairly fast in here, but we'll see. All this excess isomalt you can reuse. So you can see that comes right off the spatula here, the silicone spatula. It just comes right off. Make sure you get your gloves on if you do something like this, or you're going to end up burning your hands, because it's still really hot. A couple hundred degrees, probably close to 200 degrees, I would guess. And then what you do is you just take a silicone tray, which I happen to have right here, and you just pour the pieces in, pour it in. And then it solidifies, and you've got little pieces for the next time you want to remelt. And then this Pyrex bowl will just go in the dishwasher and cleans right up, real nice and easy. So any of these extra pieces that are hanging off here, you can just cut it off. Don't cut your mold. And again, if you have the 3D mold, I don't know that you'll even have this problem with this extra sugar hanging down. You can just cut it off. It just cuts with the scissors. The isomalt just cuts off, and I'll bend it in. So I have an open bottom to this bottle. That's basically what I have. Okay, so that way I don't have anything extra. So we just make sure that bottom, we can just clean it off with the scissors. Just set it down. We'll let that cool the rest of the way. Move this out of the way.